Yeah, yeah. What they say? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to episode 8. Today we're going to talk about real estate lingo you may hear, but may not know what it means. Let's get going, fellas.
Episode number 8, guys. DT, you still with us?
Yeah, for now.
I know how it feels.
Something you guys are a big deal. I find different.
So guys, in real estate, I know when we all were green, we first started, you hear all these terms in real estate, but you may not really capture what they mean, until you actually get into it. I know you can do a little bit of research and you can find out things here and there, but there's a lot of terms and a lot of things said, where that are abbreviated, like I did last episode. And you're like, no, break it down, explain it.
Right.
And when you said that, that's a perfect episode to have, right? Let's break things down and explain, the lingo in real estate that you may hear. All right. So we want people to understand that. We want to jump in that today and, really give the people, transparency as far as all these terms go and our point of view on it. Sound good, fellas?
Absolutely.
Good. Let's get to the work. Let's become Google, guys. Let's become Google.
So what's popular on the internet, right, is that you hear the refi cash out, right? But there's a refi, and then there's a refi cash out. Okay, there's two parts to that. So it's just not one thing. They're two different things. Same name, refi, and then a refi cash out. But two totally different things, right? So with that being said, DT, I'm going to throw it to you like always. If you can give us, your definition of when you hear refi compared to refi cash out.
Got you. So in my experience, when you refi a property, a quick example, you buy a property, you purchase a property for $60,000. Whether you have to put money into it or not, the value of the property is higher than $60,000. 9 times out of 10 as an investor, you're going to want it to be at least 20% higher than the purchase price, because when you refi, which is you're going to refinance your original mortgage or your cash that you paid for the property, you're going to want it to be 20% higher than what you actually paid cash for the property, because when you go to a bank, they're only going to give you either 70, 75 or 80% loan to value. Loan to value means they're only going to loan you 80%, 75% or 70% of the value of the house in its current condition. So if the current condition of the property is worth $80,000, they're only going to loan you, depending on what bank you go through and what
program you go through.
Dealing with, it's anywhere from 70 to 80%. Some even as high as 85. Actually, some as high as 90%. Just depending.
That's lucky though. Right. If you get 90%, it's lucky.
It's not easy to find 90% of the value on an investment property. Now, if you're dealing with a primary residence, that's a whole different ball game. And we'll touch on that in a different episode, because if you purchase an investment property that's your primary residence, there's a bank that'll give you 100% loan to value. FYI.
Which is another, gem right there.
That's a whole nother topic.
That's like a top secret conversation.
Right. So to go back to that, if you purchase a property $60,000, you pay $60,000 cash, or use creative financing to get the $60,000 or a mortgage, and at some point you refinance the property, and the property is now worth 80, 90, whatever that's worth. You're going to get 70 to, depending on the bank, 70 to 90% loan to value. And then when you refinance that, you're left over with the remaining proceeds, right? So you pay back your initial mortgage if it was from a lender, a bank, or a friend, or even your own bank account. you pay yourself back, and now you're left with the remaining couple dollars if there's money left over. But for the most part, you get, the proceeds that you initially spent back. A refi cash out is you're taking
cha-ching.
That's a cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
You're taking your entire savings, your bank account, your shoebox money, your whatever funds you have access to, and you're putting them in a property. You're paying for the property. You're putting sweat equity into the property. And then obviously when you're all done with it, the property value, you want to be higher than that 80%, 90% value. And then you're left over with a lot more. So you could take that cash out that you put in and do whatever you want to do with it. Then there's options for like 1031 exchanges and all that stuff. That's a whole nother conversation, but those are just the options.
Just to keep it simple. What he meant by that was he bought a property for $20,000. He put the $20,000 sweat equity or rehab. And then the property's now $80,000. So $80,000, he put a refi cash out. He got it for like $65,000. So he's up $25,000. And he has a property and he's up $25,000. Now he could do it again, and so on and so on.
And he got all his money back.
And he got all his money back.
Correct.
So that initial money and made $25,000, and on top of that has a property, and they can't tax that money.
Right. Correct.
So that's these guys just gave you gems, right? So he just gave you, a win-win.
Taxing part is super important.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. That's a win-win-win-win situation. Just Jerry gave you.
Right. So if you flip it, you would have to pay capital gains taxes on that. So that's why I just don't want to skim past that. I want to highlight that because that's
right. So you wouldn't have to. You don't have to pay capital gains on that. And that's when we start to get into the intricacies of it, right? So we just want to be simple and transparent, for newer people. And once again, the people that are seasoned and are looking for something else, you're going to find that also in this podcast, but we're going to hit level by level by level. Also, when you were talking about refis to refi cash outs, you also mentioned LTV. So you hit another one there, right? So it's LTV would be loan to value. So if you have someone like, hey, I'm going to do a cash out. I got to make sure my LTV is at least 80% of the buy, so once you start getting the conversations like that, you can keep up instead of going, okay, wait, cash out, get LTV. What is, you start to learn the lingo, the more you do it, the more you're into it, and the more you do your research.
Absolutely.
So that's definitely a gem. What we do a lot is when you're looking for properties that you want to put some either, a rehab in there or some sweat equity, that these guys are talking about, meaning that you'll be banging the hammer yourself, if you're strapped on cash.
Yeah. So sweat equity is two things. Sweat equity is you doing the manual work for yourself, you putting the labor in, and rehab is you're paying for somebody to do it for you. You're delegating the work to somebody else. So that's two things. Right. So when we say sweat equity, we're talking about us doing it, and when we say we rehab it, we're delegating to somebody else, guys.
Right. We're paying cash for somebody to get out there and fix it for us.
And when you get a little bit more seasoned, or if you want to be a little bit more seasoned in this avenue, you could do, you can have your own staff. You can have your own contractors that work for you, right? That's right. Now they work for you. So when you buy a property like that, you're paying them hourly, right? And then, so if you buy that same example, as Jerry said, $20,000 house, and you got to put $20,000 into it, you could have your staff do it, right? So that's sweat equity as well, because that's your staff, right? That's all, materials are all write-off. What you're paying your staff is a write-off. So it has many tax benefits on that too, but that gets a lot more intricate. But
that's real money, Papa. You got to talk real money when you talk like that.
Well, let me touch on that. Let me touch on that. So you're saying you have your own staff, and they can go in there and they can rehab the property for you. So with that being said, you may come across a lot of properties that you don't mind fixing up, and you may see the phrase or the word "as is," right? So when you see "as is," just Jerry, what does that mean when you see "as is"?
As is means
heavy.
If that house has rats and your house has open doors and cracked doors and cracked windows and mold in the basement. When they say as is, you're not getting that fixed up and they're going to give it to you.
That's
You're going to
firm.
get it as is.
Mhm.
And that means you have to put the work in that to make that a beautiful rose.
DT, you want to touch on that? I mean, can you negotiate with as is as far as fixes?
Nope. So an example, the properties you buy in auctions, an auction property, all auction properties are as is buys.
Those are good ones.
Some of the auction properties you buy for even foreclosures, you're not able to walk through them. You're not able to see, what the first, second, third floor looks like. You're not able to see the foundation. You're not able to see the roof. You're not able to see from the inside. Obviously, you could drive by some of these places because you get listed.
Right. It's about the best you can get.
Advance, but as is, you're buying it. So you just got to look at the property from the outside and assume what you can assume based off you or your contractor's professional opinion.
Don't be looking in the window, man. Don't look in the window, passing by, looking in the window. You're gonna get caught. You're gonna get caught by the cops, man. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. So as is, on auction buys are a huge thing. Foreclosure buys, huge thing. So, just be aware of that.
So no negotiation as far as fixes.
It's don't say no, DT. Sometimes you may have the person just want to get rid of it, and we could get somewhat of a negotiation, but it's very hard. It's very hard.
The negotiation, it would be
The price.
in the price though.
Correct.
Right.
Price.
It wouldn't
Correct.
be the fixes though.
Whatever
Absolutely.
if you're outside looking in and you see that there's, the roof it has to be replaced right away. There's tarps on the roof. There's missing fascia, soffit, gutter. There's a tree leaning on the side of the house. Obviously you see that up front. So you try to negotiate that
house.
Or a burnt house. So you see all these things up front and you try to negotiate that price. Yeah, you can negotiate that price. But regardless of the price you negotiate, you're still buying the as is property. Once you take the boards off the windows and doors,
right,
what's inside you own.
Right.
You own.
Absolutely. I misspoke. I was thinking about the price, not the property.
I remember I tell a quick example. I bought an as is property, right? And it was all boarded up. The windows are boarded up, doors are boarded up. It was in the wintertime. So, we close on the property and I send my staff over there to go over there, take the boards off, secure the property, and then get me an assessment, take pictures and all that good stuff, right? So my guys call me, I go over there. When I go over there, I walk in the front door, take like 15 steps in the house, and there's a frozen waterfall in the middle of the house. So at some point in time, the copper lines busted and there was a water leak, but it was in the middle of winter. So
he's seen it all.
It looked like Niagara Falls in the middle of the kitchen in this property.
But did you go ice skating though?
I couldn't. I didn't have my skates.
It could have been a beautiful.
Wow.
We bought it as is. So there's, to Lance's point, there's no going back to the previous owner saying, hey, you didn't tell me that there was a frozen ice. You know what I mean? There's none of that. You own that. Whatever's inside, you own that.
You own that. Put that on your back and let's go. And
there you go. So basically with as is, guys, there's no real negotiation. It is what it is, right? If you want to negotiate with price, maybe you can push the price a little bit, but beyond that, it comes with what it comes with. I'm sure there's horror stories out there for sure. And there's people that, thought it would be worse than what it was and didn't have to put as much into it and just had to put lipstick on it and they were great with it. So, I mean, it's all about maybe your gut feeling almost at that point, is it worth it?
And there's time
to find the comps and stuff like that, is it worth it?
To your point, there's also, like I just gave you one side of the coin. There's times where you'll buy like an estate sale property as is, right? And the kids or the siblings who are now power of attorney of the property, they don't know details about the house. So when they sign the property disclosure form, they don't know, is there lead? Is there radon? They don't know. So they have to sign, I don't know, for everything. So you can't buy that house with a mortgage because there's a bunch of unknowns. So you're buying that property as is. But when you close the property and you go to the property, it might really only need like a cleanup. You know what I mean?
Lipstick.
Some cosmetic.
Minor stuff. So just because you're buying it as is property doesn't mean you're getting a disaster.
Right. And so I'm sitting here saying something in real estate, and I'm not even realizing it. I keep saying lipstick. If you guys are listening, when I say lipstick, I know I'm giving you a curveball because I just said it. When I say lipstick, what do I mean by that, just Jerry?
So that means you got to do minor things. You do minor fixes. You do some lipstick of somebody's not the property looking ugly, property not looking great. And you make it look good. You make it look good.
As far as what? When you say probably not
the cosmetics,
great,
you have some windows that is cracked, some paint that was written on by the kids.
Property that was like yellowish brown on the outside.
Yeah. What you do is you make it look good. So you put some paint on it, make it slap some paint on it, some windows, fix some windows, and
a little bit of landscaping, and boom,
make it look good.
Curb
yeah. So lipstick is another thing that you'll hear, especially when you start to get properties and acquire properties that need a little bit of TLC. Man, I can't stop myself today. I can't stop myself today, guys.
But that's what we do, because you talk the lingo that we're supposed to be talking. And
I can't,
and you're dumbing it down for now. So let's go.
That's why it's just going to keep coming, because
it's going to keep going. But I want to get into important things as well, guys. Not saying that those things are not important, but things that are a little more important, like cash flow.
Yeah, but you're not going to jump in that. You're going to tell us what TLC means.
Man.
Yeah, you're going to have to tell us what TLC means. You already said it.
And we're not talking about the group.
Yeah.
10 to 11 K.
I'll tell you this though. You
ain't had to bring up TLC though.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this though. But that group that was singing, in that house that you walked into.
The one with the waterfall. Yeah.
Waterfalls.
Don't go chase. I'm not gonna do that to you guys.
Yeah, stick to your day jobs, man. Stick to your day jobs.
But listen, 10 to 11 K. I mean, it's TLC on a property. It's almost like lipstick as well. Correct. It's very, very similar. You need new carpets, new paint, landscaping, just a little bit of, tending, love, and care, to the property, just to give it a facelift. So it goes hand in hand with lipstick, but and with that being said, like I said, I do want to get into other things as far as, I feel it may be more important that people want to hear something like cash flow. So usually, I know Just Jerry been hitting you a lot. I'm going to hit you again with this one because I know this is right up your alley. I want to hear, when you hear cash flow, what does that mean to the people?
Cha-ching. That means you're going to.
It's just a sound effect, ladies and gentlemen. That's it.
Cha-ching. It means you are now coming into the game of you're getting paid. Monthly, weekly, whatever it is, you're getting paid from your fruits of your labor. You're getting fruits of your labor. You did what you do. You bought a property. You put some lipstick on it. You rented it out, and now the cash flow is following right after that. It's coming. It's coming every month for you now.
So give me an example of what that looks like.
All right, so I'll give you a prime example. I'm gonna give you a prime example from A to Z from what we was talking about. Refi cash out.
That's good. I like that.
It's called. It's really called the BRRRR method. To be honest, buy, rehab, rent it, refi, repeat.
BRRRR method.
Right? It's the BRRRR method. So I bought a property for $20,000. I rehab for $20,000. So that's $40,000. I'm $40,000 in this property, and I rented it out first. Make sure everything is good. I have 2 tenants. I like multiple families, so I'm not gonna go into that. And then now
that episode is coming. I promise.
I promise you that's coming. I promise you it's coming. So I bought it for 20. I rehab for 20. I put renters in it, and then I refi cash out. Let's say the value I put 20 for. Let's say 80,000. 80,000. The house was cost. So I now refi, got 65,000. Got my money back. I'm up 25,000. And now I have a renter, I have property, and renters are paying my mortgage and giving me profit. Cash flow.
So you mean after your mortgage and maintenance, whatever's left over?
Cash flow is mine. So you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't buy a property and rent it out just to pay your mortgage. You're trying to get you're trying to get profit from it. So that profit is called cash flow.
Right. If you're looking for cash flow, for sure. Yep.
Correct. So that comes in and you do it again and you do it again. By the time you think about it, you have 4 or 5 properties paying for giving you profit, cash flow, and you're now starting to have a life of freedom. So,
and once again, I do want to stress this, guys. Sometimes it takes time. It takes time a lot. You don't go to sleep and wake up and you got 5 properties. Right. It takes time and learn the steps. We're here to walk you through it. Learn what you need to do to acquire the properties, and once you have a system set up in place, just go for the gusto, and keep acquiring properties. So that way, like you said, you can be financially free. Absolutely. And that's. Do you have anything to add, DT, as far as cash flow? I mean, he gave us a full example there.
So here at H.G.R.G, we have a saying: "Why not us?" Right? Why not you? Why not me? Why not us? I bring that up because cash flow is it also. I'm gonna go a little bit different route than what just Jerry did. So cash flow is for some people the most important thing, right? So people get involved with real estate for cash flow and cash flow only. If it doesn't have the proper cash flow, they will not invest because it has to have a certain percentage, a certain return, right? Some are chasing 8%, some are chasing 10, some are chasing 20, some are chasing higher, but depending on the market, once you do your market analysis, it'll tell you what that number is. And that's probably where you're going to take your talents to, that specific market in which is going to produce the cash flow you're looking for. There's other people that don't chase cash flow. There's other people that will invest and they're looking for the appreciation value, right? So they're not chasing cash flow. They're chasing appreciation value, which
another word you guys have heard, appreciation.
I know Lance is going to go on because that's another topic, but I kind of want to, because they go hand in hand. So I have to mention them together. But so in just Jerry expounded on his point, very clearly. There's other ways that cash cows kind of make sense and are what you're chasing, but it's all along the same lines, essentially. But if you're in an appreciation market, you're not chasing the cash flow. So I just want to I want to make sure I differentiate that.
Yeah, give me an example of that.
It's the long game appreciation.
I'm going right. I have a very good friend. Actually, I do it. So I can give you mine or his. So for my kids, I'm gonna give you mine. For my kids, I bought a house for I have 2 kids. So I bought one house for my son, and one house for my daughter. And that property I bought for them, I paid more than I probably should. Mm-hmm. But I want top dollar in rent. It's an amazing property, over $100,000 each property. And I get, great rents on it. But the cash flow is maybe 2%, if that. Right. But what I paid for it, now it's worth 30, 40 grand more than I paid for it. And I bought them a year ago. So by the time they go to college, that property that I paid, I think I paid 120 for the first one and maybe 140. So I'm 260 all in. By the time my son is 7, by the time he goes to college, his property will be worth,
you open a 3 exit,
180 plus all of the cash flow that I've received, from now until when he's in college, which is probably another 10 years from now. So we got 10 years of 2% cash flow. Then my daughter, same example, just a longer time frame. So I bought those properties so that when my kids go to school, their college is paid for if they decide to go to college. That is an example of not really chasing cash flow.
It's the long game.
Right. Is that a right way to do it?
Yeah.
For the newcomers.
Well, it depends.
It all depends on them.
That's the reason I'm asking.
Some newcomers will have cash flow as their bread and butter, their main, because everybody's going to come in at a different point, right?
Absolutely.
There's people who have, no money, a lot of money. There's people who come from money who don't come from money. and there's everything in between. So, whatever, I guess our point is, because Jerry, I get where you were going with that. There really is no right or wrong way, but there has to be a way. You have to have a lane. You got to have a vision. You know what I'm saying? And you have an educated vision. So if you're coming in with cash flow, then you want to go the cash flow route. If you're coming in with appreciation, then you want to go the appreciation route. Just make sure whatever route you want to go, you're educated on that and you're doing the right thing is my point. But you can win the way though. That's
absolutely.
Right. You have, like you said, you have the long game, then you want people that want to be financially free. I had a boss, that bought a property and he bought it, I think it was like for $300,000, but he was like, that's for when I retire, I'll cash it in. So his thing is, I'm going to work until I retire. Yeah. But that house that I bought with appreciation, when it's time, I will cash it in for a lot more than I paid for it. And I'm going to go ahead and retire with that money. So it all depends on what you want.
And
really,
absolutely.
Keep in mind to my example. So I'm gonna give you the one house, right? I paid $140,000 for one house for my son's. This is the first house I bought. My son is the oldest. So in 10 years, he'll be 17. He'll be right about college age, right? So I have a 30-year mortgage. But in 10 years, my 30-year mortgage will now be 20, right? So I would have paid off a large portion of what I owe.
Here comes that guy. Here it comes. Go ahead. I see it, but go ahead. Let me explain. I'm sorry.
Right. So if in 10 years I bought a house for $140,000, I've made money monthly. Maybe it was only 2%. Maybe it was only 1%. $10, $50, $75. Doesn't matter. $75 over the course of 10 years adds up. Right. And all that goes towards college fund. There's no proceeds for that. There's no nothing. OK, so now 10 years goes by. He wants to go to college. Let's say he wants to go to Harvard or Syracuse or MCC or GCC or whatever he wants to do. I need those funds. I go and I refinance the house. Now, when I refinance the house 10 years from now, that house will be worth 180, 185. I get 80% loan to value on that. I walk away with 160. I got 160 I owe because my original mortgage was for 140. I probably owe 90,000, 80,000. So if I walk away with 160 and I owe 90 or 80, I walk away with 60 or 70,000.
Here's your college paid for.
Tax free.
And you still got the property.
Here's at least the first couple years of your college, depending on what university you go to.
Whatever he wants to do, but
whatever you want to do,
you gave him a fighting chance to fight that battle.
Or if I don't want to just pay his first couple years, I could just sell the house outright. You know what I mean? And kind of walk away with the same thing. But I would probably never do that because I would still want that residual income.
Absolutely, he needs
right. You don't want to lose the property.
Yeah, for him. Because when you refi or you sell, you lose the 20%, but it's such a small margin that it's not even worth it.
It's not worth it. Yep.
Right. So there you go. So now we're giving you a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to cash flow to from refinances, excuse me. From refinances, refi cash out to cash flow to appreciation. To LTV we've hit. So we've hit a few things here. Here's one thing that we'll probably do a whole episode on. Because this is how we do. We create when we're here. With you guys, we listen to the episodes and the podcast and we go, man, we need to speak more about that. Then we come back to the table, just being transparent, giving you guys the insight. But with that being said, the most important thing to us, I believe, I speak for all of us, is our PM. You're nothing without your PM. Ooh. And I'm not talking about, the opposite of AM. I'm not talking about time here. I'm not talking about any of that. When I talk about PM, because I want to go back to you, DT. What exactly am I saying when I say PM?
So PM is property management. Property management is
I know those guys.
A huge key to success in the rental market. If you own a rental or investment property, you will only be as successful as your property management company. The services they provide and how successful they are for you. Your investment lives and dies in the hands, the arms, the feet, the chest, the soul, the heartbeat of the property management company. So that's what you mean when you say PM.
Just Jerry.
Yeah.
How important is it to us, man?
Yeah.
How important is it?
Yeah. Property management, our beat to our drums, man.
It's like a heartbeat. That's a fact.
We need them to be our foot on the ground. We need them to get the tenants. We need them to tell us what's going on with our properties. We need them to collect our rent. We need them to, my man, we need them more than they need us, to be honest.
Expound on it, even like right now during the pandemic.
Yeah. So our property management. So let's clear. Let me be clear when I say property management is the most important thing, but I'll tell you the right property management is the most important thing.
Do you have it wrong?
Yeah, there's definitely wrong.
Is there such thing as wrong?
Absolutely, especially when you are out of town investments, out of towners. They take advantage because they know that you're not going to come up there, or they know that by the time you come up here, you wouldn't be able to touch the property. You will know what's going on with the property, so they might give you a charge or overcharge something that costs you $15 and they'll charge you $200. So we went through a couple of those. But the property management, when I say is, they help you make your life easy. They deal with all the things that you don't want to deal with on the day to day. They deal with for you. It's a must have if you're into properties out of state. It's a must have if you don't want to be hands on, and it's a must have if you want to build your portfolio, because you won't be able to do it all by yourself. If you have 300 units, you need help.
Even if you're in state and you're not seasoned.
Say that.
It's necessary. 100%. I mean, listen, here's the thing, right? You're an owner now. You have this real estate, so you gotta look at it as a business. This is a business. So the thing about this is in the title itself, property management. Okay, they are going to manage everything. When you walk into McDonald's, you don't ask for the owner, you ask for the manager. The owner's not there, right? That owner is trusting that management team that they have hired to run that store properly. That's as if they were there.
Speak that language, brother.
So, and we've been there. Listen, if they're not running it, always remember this: they work for you. So if they're not running it the way they should run it, fire them. Fire them. Because if we didn't fire them, hold on. I'm getting personal. Now I'm getting emotional. If we didn't fire, we probably wouldn't be where we're at now. If we weren't firing people, it's just you can't be timid, because they'll run all over you if it's the wrong management team.
Don't be scared, and don't be scared to let them go. There's about 4 or 5 of them in that wherever you at. There's about 4 or 5 property managers.
Yeah, if not more.
Minimum.
Minimum. Correct. So
an important thing to take into mind with the property management company, you as the owner understand. Lance said it. They work for you. If they don't view themselves like they work for you, bad deal. Walk away. If they don't answer your call, if they don't respond to your emails, if they don't communicate with you in an accepted way, it's not for you. I view my properties like a baby, like a kid, like a child, right? So when I buy a property out of town, out of state, and I entrust a management company with that property, I'm entrusting a management company with one of my babies. So I expect, like, my daycare provider for my 2 kids, if my son falls and scratches his knee, she sends me a picture, she calls me, she texts me, hey, he fell, he scratched his knee. I cleaned it with bacteria, a little, I put a Band-Aid on it. He's good. I'm going to monitor him for the rest of the day, but everything's okay. He's okay. I just wanted to let you know, though, he scratched his knee.
Right. If you have to find out when he gets home.
Yeah, if my
now it's a problem.
Him with a scratch, and I don't know what happened. Now I'm making it and it shouldn't happen that way. Your PM should be proactive, not for just obviously being clear. If you have a light bulb that's out or a leaking faucet, I'm not saying they got to call you like it's an emergency because you're paying them for that service. But there's boundaries there. There's most PMs, most property management companies, they have like a dollar amount that they have to notify you, whatever. But there should be some system in place that even if it's a light bulb, you should be able to know about that. You should be able to log into some type of portal, receive some type of email, have some type of open communication where you understand that, okay, this happened. So now next month when I receive my payout and it's short $30, $100, $1,000, now at least I know why. I have an idea because they notified me of that. I'm ready for it. I'm prepared for it.
Yep. Absolutely. So, and these are some of the things that you guys will hear. PM is something that's very important to us. I mean, it's not thrown around a lot, but that's something that's very, very important to us.
A lot of people dance around that. They dance around that a lot.
Yes, for sure. People like PM. I never really heard that. I get to see people now, listen to that. I never heard PM, but PM short for property management. And
I see it a lot. I see it a lot that when like on not shooting anybody, but when I see, podcasts and YouTubes and all this stuff, they never speak on in depth their relationship with their PMs because when they got a good one, they keep it hostage. They don't really speak on that. I don't see a lot of that.
Well, not us. So we're going to give everybody the transparency. We want everybody to win. There's nothing in life where everybody wins, but if we can give you the tools for you to go out there and try to win, that helps us. It helps us help you. Yeah, and that's what we're here for.
We would be doing a disservice if we didn't, be honest, not just about PMs, but about attorneys, about realtors, about, credit, help people who help with credit. And hard lending, like insurance broke. Everything we be doing our fan base.
We could be here for 24 hours talking to you guys, through these cameras right now, So it's those are some of the things as far as the real estate lingo that you'll hear and that we wanted to break down for you guys today, so that way when you do hear them, you have an understanding of them now. And once again, I appreciate you guys, DT, Just Jerry. I feel like we're doing a great service to the people.
Yeah. Before you start to close, Lance, let me just say, there's a lot of lingo out there that we didn't touch. And just because we didn't touch didn't mean it's not important. But like Lance just said, if you give us the cameras in front of us, we can talk 24 hours if we can. But we don't. So we have some limited time that we got to talk to you guys. So if we didn't hit on lingos, please ask questions. Please Google. Please talk to somebody that may know the lingo. Just don't take the lingo and run and think you have it, because that lingo could bite you in your.
Let's go further.
Go and then let's talk about it. Then go ahead.
That's what we're here for.
Leave it in the comment section.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. So, hey, listen, if you talking that good stuff, we can talk right back to you. We might go back and talk some more lingo down the line, but right now, this is what we gave you, and it was a good beginners lingo. So
yeah, for sure. And
absolutely, guys.
To leave a comment. Don't be afraid to leave comments. Don't be afraid to say, hey, you touched on this and I didn't get it. Can you expound on that? We got one-on-ones for that. We have, there's a lot of things in store for those who are listening. So
right.
Not to go long-winded, but just appreciate your attention. Thank you for your time. We got a lot more. We're not done yet.
Absolutely.
We dropping a lot. We're gonna flood the market, flood the information. We feel like this is very, very important. And we always say to each other, man, if I would have knew this when I was younger, if somebody would have told me that, but that's what we are for y'all. So please, attention, man, stay hip.
Put in the comments. My thing is, this is about 95% organic, man. So what you hear is really us just talking with a camera on. I mean, this is what it is. You can't get it more organic than this. We threw some pictures up in the background. We tried to make it look good for you, but as far beyond that, this is organic.
Absolutely.
That's why you might hear us stutter on some words a little bit or go off course a little bit or whatever it may be, but because we're giving it to you from here. This is straight from here. This is straight from here. So, we love that you guys are taking this ride with us, the H.G.R.G family. And we hope to see you for more episodes, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate y'all. Salute.
Yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental's parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines.